Please come forward, so if people are sitting on those chairs, they can't. Thank you. My dad. Mombasa.
That is from
when you rewind.
أفلح من صلي على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله يا إمام الرحمة يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين يا علي بن أبي طالب يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد يا قرة عين الرسول يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة عند الله، اشفعي لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها الباقر يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها
عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله
يا أبا الحسن يا موسى بن جعفر أيها الكاظم يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا وصي الحسن والخلف الحجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها حاجات يا سادتي ومواليا إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وعدتي ليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله وتوسلت بكم إلى الله
واستشفعت بكم إلى الله، فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله، فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله، وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله، فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله. صلى الله عليهم أجمعين، ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين، آمين رب العالمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات. الفاتحة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. هيا على الصلاة هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح هيا على خير العمل هيا على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
Just inside.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي ولي الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين وأولاد المعصومين حجج الله. هيا على الصلاة هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح هيا على خير العمل هيا على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه إنه كان غفارا. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم وقوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وتقبل شفاعته وارفع درجته. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقوم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله. سبحان الله والحمد لله. سبحان الله والحمد لله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم ولعن منادهم. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقنا بهم العافية وتمام العافية ودوام العافية عافية الدين والدنيا والآخرة بحق قدرته الطاهرة.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين وأولاد المعصومين حجج الله هيا على الصلاة هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح هيا على الفلاح هيا على خير العمل هيا على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه إنه كان غفارا الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم وقود بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة بحق إترته الطاهرة. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وتقبل شفاعته وارفع درجته بحول الله وقوته. أقوم وأقول سبحان الله سبحان الله الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وارزقنا شفاعتهم. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته. أقوم وأقول الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بنا ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله يا أهل التقوى والمغفرة يا أرحم الراحمين بحرمة محمد وآله الطاهرين.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إنه ليس لي علم بموضع رزقي وإنما أطلبه بخطرات تخطر على قلبي فأجول في طلبه بلدان فأنا فيما أنا طالب كالحيران لا أدري أفي سحل وأم في جبل أم في أرض أم في السماء أم في بر أم في بحر وعلى يدي من ومن قبل من فقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيدك وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك. اللهم فصل على محمد وآله واجعل يا ربي رزقك لي واسعا ومطلبه سهلا وما خذه قريبا ولا تعنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا فإنك غني عن عذابي وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك. فصل على محمد وعليه وجد على عبدك بفضلك إنك ذو فضل عظيم.
Mu'mineen, salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mu'mineen, can I kindly request you to take your seats for the remainder of the program with the recitation of a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. صلوات على
محمد صلوات. ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. کہتے کہ علمدار کے دے موت خدایا کہتے کہ علمدار کے دے موت خدایا منہ پیاسی سکینہ کو دکھایا نہیں جاتا. ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. سے بولے کمر ٹوٹی سنبھالو علی اکبر سے بولے کمر ٹوٹی سنبھالو علی اکبر. عباس صدا دیتے کہ جایا نہیں جاتا. ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. اکبر تو چھپاتے ہیں کہ شبیر نہ دیکھے اکبر تو چھپاتے ہیں کہ شبیر نہ دیکھے، ہاتھوں سے مگر زخم چھپایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا. جواب سعد ملک کہ بھلایا نہیں جاتا. اکبر تو چھپاتے ہیں کہ شبیر نہ دیکھے، اکبر تو چھپاتے ہیں کہ شبیر نہ دیکھے، ہاتھوں سے مگر زخم چھپایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلا یہ داغ کلیجے کا نشایا نہیں جاتا. قاسم کی نہ امید رکھو مادر قاسم، قاسم کی نہ امید رکھو مادر قاسم، لاشے کی یہ حالت ہے کہ لایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. یا مولا علی آو رسن مستغ زینب، یا مولا علی آو رسن مستغ زینب، بے بس ہے سکینہ کو چھڑایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. ان بیویوں میں مادر اکبر ہے کہ جس کا، ان بیویوں میں مادر اکبر ہے کہ جس کا، ایک ہاتھ کلیجے سے ہٹایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. اے شامیوں سجاد کے نہ زخم دکھاؤ، اے شامیوں سجاد کے نہ زخم دکھاؤ، بیڑی کو ہلا کر تو جگایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. اٹھتے ہیں کبھی بیٹھتے ہیں مولا اکیلے، یا اللہ، اٹھتے ہیں کبھی بیٹھتے ہیں مولا اکیلے، کیا لاشا یہ فرزند اٹھایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا، ہم سے غم شبیر بھلایا نہیں جاتا، یہ داغ کلیجے کا مٹایا نہیں جاتا. صلوات پر
Mu'mineen, salamun alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can I please request the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha for Marhum Amir Asaria, Marhum Sheila Asaria, Marhum Muhammad Hassan Ali Rahim, Marhuma Nargis Rahim, Marhuma Kulsum Bai Ahmad Nanji Kara, Marhumin of the Rahim, Jaffer and Asaria families, and for all Marhumin, Suratul Mubarakatul Fatiha. Mu'mineen, this evening we are honored to be hosting Sheikh Mirza Abbas for the Majlis this evening. Sheikh, who is now very well known to us here at Wessex Jamaat, has served as a resident alim in both Birmingham and Nottingham. He is the program leader for the B.A. Hawza Foundation course at the Islamic College and also works as a manager for the Hawza of England. Can I please ask you all to join me in welcoming Sheikh Mirza with the recitation of 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين بالقاسم محمد وعليه الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم وغاصب حقوقهم ومنكر فضائلهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال الله الحكيم في محكمه الكتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلى الله على محمد وعلى محمد. We extend our condolences to the Imam of our time on the 10th commemoration, the 10th of the commemoration after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and the Ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I will just give you a little premise and then we'll discuss hadith from the Prophet in regards to the companions of Imam Hussein and their status, because we are commemorating the 10th of the Imam Hussein and their Ashab. So it's important to know on what level they were and how they were and what lessons that we can take and what was the message in the uprising of Imam Hussein alayhi salam for us. So basically in one sort of session of our discussion, I have to remind ourselves about his message and also where he wants to take us and why. And also at the same time, we know that there are 2 imams who are very close in terms of their titles and in terms of their mission as well. All imams have the same mission, however this two protrude out, this 2 clearly projects out in terms of when we look at their life. One is the 3rd Imam, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and the second is the 12th Imam, Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. So Imam Hussein is also known as the Safina Najat. Inna al-Hussein Misbahul Huda wal Safina. He is the Ark of Salvation. And also the 12th Imam is known as the Ark of Salvation. Imam Hussein alayhi salam used the sword, he had a battle. And in regards to Imam Asr alayhi salam, we hear that he will use the sword and there will be a battle. There's Ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam who supported Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and there will be Ashab of the 12th Imam which needs the support for this battle, for the success. Now, as these 2 Imams are very similar in many things, the Ashab will also resemble as well. So what I'm trying to say is that the Ashab of Imam Hussein will be very similar to the Ashab of the 12th Imam. So we want to be from the Ashab of the 12th Imam. We want our children to be from the Ashab of 12th Imam. So now let's reflect a bit upon the caliber and the level of the Ashab of Imam Hussein where, and then how far we are, so that we can help ourselves to reach to that level, right? So if you help me with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The verse I recited was from the Quran, which says, وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ إِنْ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. The Prophet have been sent in order for what? For teaching, وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابِ, to teach us. And also وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, for taskiyah, for purification. So the gist of our deen, our religion, and the mission of the Prophet becomes teaching, ta'aleem, and purification. And also there's a third domain which is a bit higher, and that is فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَ. That is reminder. Reminding. Prophet is a muzakkir. He's a reminder. Prophet himself is a reminder. The Quran is a book of reminder. The Prophet is a reminder. Okay, you have ta'aleem, taskiyah, and a reminder, remembrance. What is reminder? Reminder is Allah have stamped the belief in God on our soul. Every person believes in God, whether he accepts it or doesn't accept it. Okay, what do you mean by believe in God? Sometimes this God may be atheism itself, because a man cannot be without a belief. A man will believe regardless of what. Either he will believe in God and recognize whatever level of kamalat that this person have, in terms of his intellectual understanding of what God is, Trinity or one God or many gods or whatever. So man is not out of belief. Either he will be a believer in gods or in God or in three gods or whatever, or he will be believer in no God. That is also, it's a belief. So a man will always have a belief. This having a belief itself is nothing but believe in God. But the problem is not recognizing what this belief is. The mistake is in recognition, not in the belief. So a man is a natural believer. The same way as 3 is an odd number, the same way a man is a natural believer. He cannot be out of belief. Right? However, he is unable to determine and understand what is a true belief or a false belief. That's where things are, where he's saying, I don't believe in God. But he believes in something. That not believing in God itself is a belief, right? So therefore, for tazakkur, reminders is at a point where a person does not want to accept a book, does not want to accept, tazkiyah or a prophet, then there's that reminder from inside. Right? Somehow the Prophet or the Waliullah or a friend just shakes that person up and reminds him, and then says, oh yeah, everything comes back to that person. Then he says, okay, now I need to investigate, now I need to find, So there's always reminders from Allah, right? Maybe he's traveling, something happened in a plane, he says, oh my God, there should be somebody to save me. That sort of reminder. Somehow a tazakkur, a tazkirah comes, And Prophet is considered to be one of that, right? Imam Hussein, the whole story of Imam Hussein, the whole sacrifice of Imam Hussein, there is ta'aleem in it, there is tazkiyah in it, and there is a reminder in it. This element of reminder, we through these majalis, we remind ourselves, right? So now, deen, religion, is a majmu'ah, is a domain, or is a package which contains these 3 principles. Okay, it has these 3 principles, which is education, ta'aleem. We have to educate ourselves. We have to, increase our understanding, ma'rifat. That's why the Prophet have been sent, so that we don't make any mistakes, in our life, in where we are heading. We should really know that, right? Then the element of purification is there as well. Not just a person increases one's knowledge and becomes a scholar, but there is no tazkiyah. That purification is very important. The purification must be there, right? You may have a great philosopher, but if he's not purified, that person will, instead of guiding through this philosophy and education, will not guide them, will take them astray, will take them in the wrong way. So that purification, tazkiyah, is very important, right? That's why I remember, when we were studying in Qom, we used to, in the month of Ramadan, now Jawadi has his own mosque, he leads every day. But in Ramadan, where the lessons were off, we used to study in his office, and he used to lead the prayer. I didn't study with him, but his student used to teach us. So people used to go and ask him, who shall we do taqleed to? There is, Makarim Shirazi, there is, Tabrizi, there is Fazil Lankarani, they were alive at that time, Agha Bahjat. So he would say, Agha Bahjat, because the element of tazkiyah and taqwa is very important. One of the conditions of following a marja is that the element of spirituality is the element of taqwa. The marja should have that element of taqwa in it, right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prolong the life of Ayatollah Sistani, inshallah. So that element of taqwa is important, right? So you have ta'aleem and tazkiyah. Purification is there. And then the other aspect, the principle that contains within the deen is that tazkirah, is a reminder. It's a reminder. Now, why I'm discussing this is as a premise to discuss a hadith from Rasulullah in regards to the ashab, and also some of the hadiths and narrations in regards to the ashab of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Let's recite a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And we'll connect this premise. We'll connect this premise to to these hadiths, and then we'll understand. We'll conclude it in the end. Now, there's a narration which comes from the fifth Imam. He is mentioning Imam Hussain, because we know that the fifth Imam was alive at the time when the Waqi Karbala happened. So here's a hadith from Imam Hussain, in which it says that Rasulullah have mentioned, Inna Rasulullah qala li ya bunayya. Now Rasul is saying to Imam Hussain, oh my son, innaka satusaqu ila al-Iraq. Soon you will go towards Iraq. And then wahiya ardun, and there's this earth, this Iraq, where you will go. Attaqa biha an-nabiyun wa awsa'u an-nabiyin. All of the Anbiya and the Awsiya and the successors of the Nabis have met this land. So there is a narration also that we have seen in which it says that every prophet went through Karbala. And when they went to Karbala, they tripped. And they say, why? Why it happened? And they cried. And then they were reminded of that in the future, there will be a group of people who will die here, who will sacrifice their life here, Imam Hussain. And the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, as we recite in the dua of the 11th Imam on the 3rd, Imam Hassan Askari have a dua to be recited on the birth of Imam Hussain on the 3rd, which says that, your sacrifice was announced even before your birth. Was even announced before. So this is a very important concept and reality that we have to come to terms with from philosophical, theological, and mystical angle for being a follower of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, for being a Shia. That how can it be possible that it was announced before and this happened later, and this hadith as well, for example, that has its own sort of, it can easily, it can be proven. It's not like, it's not possible from a philosophical point of view, theological point of view, from a mystical point of view. It can be proven. That's not our topic for tonight. But it is one of our core belief that, the Imam Hussein's waqia was mentioned to him, to Bibi Fatima, to Amirul Mu'mineen. They were all aware of this. That's why in the wasiyat of Amirul Mu'mineen, he says, kiss the, hands of Bibi Zainab. O Hussein, before you kiss the neck of, the shirt of Imam Hussein which he wears, which the mother has. So this is a core belief of ours, right? And it is not something, a fantasy as such. It is something that can be mystical, philosophically and theologically proven. Okay? So here's the Rasulullah saying that, soon my son, you will go to a land in which the Prophet and the Awsiya have, وَهِيَ أَرْضٌ تَدْعُو أَمُورًا. This place is known as Amura. When Imam Hussain stopped, he asked. The horse was not moving, he asked, what's this place? They say Amura, this is tough, this then finally this is Karbala. So Amura was also known, that place of Karbala has also have the name of Karbala. وَإِنَّكَ تُسْتَشْهَدُ بِهَا. You will become shaheed here. وَيَشْتَشْهَدُ مَعَكَ جَمَاعَةٌ. And a jamaat will become shaheed with you here. Min ashabik, from the ashab. لَا يَجِدُونَ عَلَى مَسَّ الْحَدِيدِ. And they will not feel the touching of iron, hadid, to their bodies. Iron will be cutting them, but they will not feel anything. They will have no pain of these wounds and spears and hadith that is cutting them, right? And then it will be like watala qulna ya naru kuni bardan wa salama ala Ibrahim. It will be something of that accord where that fire have become bard, coal and garden for Ibrahim. So for the ashab of Imam Hussein and for Imam Hussein, the battle will be like that. That's why you find narrations, they were happy for where they are and what they are. They never left Imam Hussein. On the night, Imam Hussein said, go, whoever wants to go, but they never did. They were, in some of the riwayat we also have, they were joking with each other in the evening. They say, why? They say, because we know where we're going to go, from tomorrow onwards, where are we going to be, in terms of that. So the battle for them, this is Rasulullah's narration. So it's pointing out to the the level of the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So now the 12th Imam also needs the companion. So we have to see, where we are, in terms of that level, right? Yes, alhamdulillah, we have done good in terms of quantity. MashaAllah, 20 million walking and majalis, no matter, everywhere, alhamdulillah. But what we are talking about is that quality. What sort of quality of these ashab? This quality of ashab were like this, that pain was nothing. They felt no pain from the iron, right? It was something like, let's say Amirul Mu'mineen, when he's in sajda, he had an arrow, they pulled it out, he felt nothing, right? He was so sort of immersed in Tawheed, in his prayers. He was one with Allah. Like you don't feel anything. Now, some of the people may ask, oh, what about the ring? A person came and knocked at the door, and Imam Ali gave the ring in the ruku, and there's the ayah of the Quran, right? Because the Quran is nothing but the actions of Ahl Bayt, or the Quran is seen in the actions of Ahl Bayt. That's what the Quran is. When Ahl Bayt was fasting, they gave to the yatim, to the miskeen, the Surah Dahar, Surah Insan, Halat al-Insan, and then all that came. Those verses came when Ahl Bayt acted. Imam Ali gave the zakat in ruku. The ayah came, innama waliyukum Allah, my wali of Allah and Rasul is the one, who establishes prayer and give zakat in ruku, right? How come, Imam here at that time when they pulled the arrow out, he couldn't hear? Because the person who was asking from Allah at the house of Allah, and Ali was with Allah at that time as well, and at the time they pulled the arrow as well. And when they pulled the arrow, it is the pain of Ali. But when the person came, it's not the pain of Ali, it's the pain of that person who is asking from Allah. So it goes back to the responsibility of Allah, or to the pain of Allah, if you want to say. Allah doesn't have pain, but in that sense, right? So therefore, they will have no feeling of that, of iron. They have reached to that level of their ma'rifat and understanding, right? And then in another narration, which is from our sixth Imam, Imam Jaffer as-Sadiq alayhi salam, that one of the companions of the sixth Imam asked him, "Akhbirni an ashab al-Husayn iqdamihim ala al-maut." Inform me of the ashab of Imam Hussein when they were, taking their step towards death. How they were. And then the sixth Imam says, "Innahum kushifa lahumul ghita." The veils were removed in front of their eyes. It was removed. To what extent? Hatta ra'au manazilahum min jannah. That they can see their place in paradise. They were able, the veils were removed. They could see their maqam, where they are going. Right? And that's how they were competing with each other to go and sacrifice. So the veils were removed. In the Ziyarat-e-Nahiyya as well, the 12th Imam, لَقَدْ كَشَفَ اللَّهُ لَكُمُ الْغِطَاءَ. There were those people who had no veils in front of them in regards to the reality. Right? those were the ashab of Imam Hussein, right? And the 12th Imam also needs ashab, right? In here, some of them, were at the level of ilm and tazkiyah, for example, right? Definitely on the level of ilm, where Habib ibn Mazahir has been called, and the term used as is faqih, as a profound scholar, where the Imam writes a letter to Habib and asks him to come. And many others were there who were pretty much good in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their purification. We have Abul Fazl, that sort of knowledge and understanding right from that young age, where the father teaches him about, son, say, Wahid. He says Wahid. And they say Sanain. He says Baba, the mouth which says Wahid, it doesn't look good to say two, in terms of their understanding and marifat. And the purpose of our tonight discussion is mostly our youngsters, mashallah, how beautifully the young one recited the dua after, Maghribayn. And many others, I have always seen, mashallah, the Wessex Jamaat here, they work really hard with the youth, with the young ones, in terms of their presentation, in terms of their reading, recitation, Quran. Alhamdulillah, I was just reflecting, they are very good, great. They're doing, the teachers here, the Jamaat is doing a great job, right? I mean, when we look at, for example, Ono Muhammad, 9 years, 10 years, how come yes, that's if you teach, if you invest in them, yeah. A 5-year-old recites much better than, me, right? Right? Because we are investing in them. So if we invest in them, why not? So those young ones, Ono Muhammad or Hazrat Qasim, they were the Ahl Bayt, and people invested in them. Abul Fazl was a teacher in chivalry for Hazrat Qasim. It is possible. It's not, these maqtal and all of these things are not fairy tales. These are based on truth and reality, right? There's truth to it, based on, extracted from their life and how they lived their life, right? I mean, sometimes it becomes easier for public to watch and enjoy and believe in a 7-year-old, catches 3 thieves in Home Alone or something. He's a champion, he's the hero there. Or for example, it's easier for us to believe a 11-year-old in that old movie of Black Stallion, this young chap, he rides the horse and defeats but when we are talking about Muhammad Qasim, they say, oh, Maulana, is this right? Or is it fairy tale? Is it possible? No. Why not? Right? So now the point is that, as we are saying that we are preparing our young ones to be the companions of the 12th Imam. So alhamdulillah, in terms of their Arabic, in terms of their, now the point is that to kind of increase their ma'rifah and understanding. And that is possible. And for those people who are old like me, who have spent most of the life just speaking but not doing any action or amal, still there is hope, because Hazrat Hur stopped Imam Hussein, but Imam Hussein reminded him. That is tazkira. As we are saying, reminder, Imam Hussein reminded him, who is Hussein and who is the mother of Hussein. That was tazkira. So the story of Karbala is ta'lim, tarbiyat, and also tazkira. It's a reminder. So our deen have these 3 principles, right? Reminder of what? That's why in the khutbah of Arafah, if you look at Imam Hussein saying, I am here to take you to home, where your real home is, which is towards Allah. That's our real home. Now, real home means that these veils will be lifted from our eyes. We'll be seeing our real home, which is the Jannah. A mu'min, as Amirul Mu'mineen says, that he's a loser if he does not give his life, in return he gets Jannah, right? But unfortunately, I am so involved in my dunya, reading this, reading that, here and there, wasting my time, right? But not focus on something which is the real home. If I want to be the ashab and companion and helper of Imam Hussein, I have to come out of this nifaq. I have to come out. Yes, because of certain, what you call etiquettes and all that, I have to present myself this way. But am I really this? You know what I mean? So I have to reflect on myself. I have to work on myself, right? If I say, oh, Imam Zaman, come and we will be your helper, and am I on that level really? We all love Imam Hussein, but Imam Hussein need ashab like this, Abul Faz, ashab like Habib, ashab like, Muslim ibn Awsaja, Muslim ibn Aqil, those type of ashab Imam Hussein need. Yes, the love of Hussein is there, alhamdulillah. Majlis is there, Matam is there, Niyaz is there, everything is there, our participation is there. But it's only a bit on the superficial level for me, from my side. I need to really have that deeper understanding. If I am on the level where I have some sort of relationship of Hussein, when I go there to Karbala, I speak to him. I create that bond with him. When I go to Abul Fazl, I create that bond with him. Before going to Imam Hussein, get his permission, right? All of these things have to, basically we have to, build ourselves to reach to that level. Now here, these are the ashab that who have basically reached to a point where there is hijabs have been taken away. As they say, Inna kitab al-abrara lafi illiyin, they were the abrar. In another ziyarat that we recite, they were considered to be the abrar. They were on the level where the sixth Imam says that, Bi abi anta wa ummi, may my life be sacrificed to the ashab of Imam Hussein. They were on that level in terms of their ma'rifat. Am I really on that level, or is it possible for me to reach to that level? Yes, there is talim and tazkiyah. That's the path. Educating myself, gaining knowledge, and also acting upon it. As Amirul Mu'minin says, whoever have knowledge and act upon it, Allah will open doors for you. Allah will be the teacher. So, Bismillah, the path is open, right? For some people, maybe it's specific field, and they are working on it. Maybe they are in the seminary or they are studying religion and deen, for example. They should be on it. I'm speaking to myself, I'm not on it, right? But there could be some people, they have other responsibilities. But while having other responsibilities, still the focus should be that I want this hijab between me and Allah to be taken away, to be purified. Through what? Through things that has been mentioned. How many of us, we say there's alamat of mu'min, wearing raqiq ring, doing ziyarat arba'in, reciting 51 rakat of prayer. I'm speaking to myself. How many times? I'm mu'min. But do I have the alamat of mu'min? Do I pray 8 rakat before Zuhur, 8 rakat before? Baba, wajib hum mushkil se pad rahe hain, Aur mu'min bhi bol rahe hain, right? Namaz shab, right? And we say, we are all mu'min. Yes. Alamat of mu'min do I have? We are near Arba'in now, the famous hadith of 11th Imam. And then we are saying, Imam Zaman, come. Alamat of mu'min, namaz shab, 51 rakat prayer, all of the other things. Alhamdulillah, we try to have that, we do that. But we gotta go get somewhere. You know what I mean? Right? So it's just a lip service. If I'm just, yes, it's not just lip service, but the love is there, that emotional attachment, inshallah, in the akhirah, we'll have the reward for it. But we're talking about Imam Zaman. We're talking about being a helper for him. Right? So you have teaching and tazkiyah. Bismillah, we can be on path. But at the same time, there's that reminder, which happens every year, especially and specifically when we look at Hazrat Hur. Right? That the destiny of Hur changed. Before, was he able to see those hijabat was removed in front of him, or no, it wasn't. But the day he came, the day he joined, you have this narration where these hijabat are removed, right? There's a very beautiful saying in regards to Sayyid Ali Qazi Tabatabai. I will mention that and then I'll conclude. Sayyid Ali Qazi Tabatabai was the teacher of Allama Tabatabai. And in regards to him, it's been mentioned this, that he would have a state of awe. If you help me with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Yes, he will be in a state of awe. I'm just, what do you call, not going to read the Farsi version of it, but I remember what he was mentioning, that has been mentioned in regards to him, that he will be in a state of awe for 3 days, as if he is not breathing, as if he is not sleeping. He will be just looking and staring at a place. Everything will stop. And it will be the students who will take care of him during these days. Right? In another place that I read, where it says that sometimes in the haram of Imam Hussein, it will be just like that, standing, reciting nothing, doing nothing, but it will be in a state of awe of the things that he has been witnessing in terms of the manifestation. He will be quiet. Sometimes, when we see a person who's about to die or who's dying, it's like that. Why? Because he's seeing that world. This person is seeing that world. He's shocked to see the beauty of that sight. It's very surprising. Even here, when we go to some beautiful place, we'll be like, wow, right? So it's the same way in regards to Sayyid Ali Qazi, that he will be witnessing certain things that is beyond this world, right? And as a matter of fact, the reality of Karbala was that. Imagine the whole sky, right, with the stars and the beauty and the earth, and they both meet. It's the story of Karbala is that. The truth of Karbala is that, right? The heaven and earth have met in the land of Karbala, and whenever you go there, you have that feeling of it, right? So when we are talking about the veils being lifted and seeing the next world, seeing the barzakh, seeing the akhirah, seeing the hereafter, seeing the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Basir, who was blind, but he could see the 6 Imam. People who were not blind, they couldn't really see him. That heart, through purification. And Imam Hussein changed her. So people like me, who have less of a hope compared to these young ones, alhamdulillah, for me is that my continuous connection and relationship with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, my submission, my humility, my humbleness, and at the same time I have to keep on trying, right? If I really truly want to be supportive of the 12th Imam. Otherwise it will be a cultural, very emotional and sentimental exercise of me, which there is sawab for it. Not that there is no sawab in the hereafter. They have promised they will come. But the point for us and the purpose of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was not just the sawab of the hereafter. Is that no, they want us in this dunya. That's why Imam Hussein showed everyone the manazil, their levels in the hereafter in this dunya. Imam said, no, inshallah you will get the sawab, you will die for me, or you become shaheed, you have sawab in the no. While they were alive, they saw. Right? While being in this dunya, they saw. Ali Akbar says, what difference does it make? How come death comes to us, we go to death. We are on that haqq, we are on that truth. Right? So that certainty and yaqeen and witnessing of those higher forms of reality. And the path is open. It's never closed, it can't be closed. As we have this two great weight, the Quran and the Sunnah and the Ahl Bayt, there's no difference in the Quran and the Sunnah. Right? They are one. So we have to bring this. Yes, alhamdulillah, we have Imam Hussein, we have love, we have all that. What about the Quran? We have to bring the Quran also. As they say, who is there who does not want to see Imam Zaman? Nobody say here, I know, that they don't want to see Imam. We all want to see Imam Zaman. There's nobody who does not want to see Imam Zaman. So I just say in Quran, okay, go open Quran. This Quran, this is Imam Zaman. Don't look at Imam Zaman, go look at the Quran. That's Imam Zaman. Because there is no difference between Ahl Bayt and Quran. So how much of Quran is in my life? That much amount of Imam Zaman is in my life. Right? So am I really with the Quran? If I'm with the Quran, I'm with Imam Zaman. Because let Imam Zaman go look at it. Because there's no difference in Ahl Bayt and Quran. They are one thing. Yes, we say Imam Zaman because that's very easy. But to pick up the Quran and recite is very difficult. It's hard. Ramadan, it helps because shaitan is in chains. But another time it's a bit difficult. But I have to. I'm speaking to myself. I have to push myself. I have to discipline myself. I have to, but alhamdulillah for these youngsters, mashallah, this youth, one of the best thing that I see in them is there is no nifaq. There's no hypocrisy. They are very clear. They are what they are. And then you teach them, you train them, they will be on top of it. They will ask me, my son asked me that why am I not doing that? You say this, why you're not, right? Alhamdulillah, that's great. That's what we want. And these places are for that. Alhamdulillah. And at the same time, the pains and sorrow and difficulties that they have gone through. As we are commemorating the 10th, it wasn't an easy task. It wasn't an easy journey. They suffered a lot. And there's always, the suffering will always be there. Right? So we all have to, suffer and remember the suffering. It is very important. The maqatil, the marsia, the noha, the poetry, these are very important things. The decoration, the cloth, all of these things are important. Because through this we remember that. That's a human nature. Never undermine those riwayat and the masaib part, what's been recited and what's been transferred to us, heart to heart, right? So when we look at the journey of the Ahl Bayt alayhi salam, peculiarly and particularly after they were taken captives, it wasn't easy. As they say that, Imam Hussein, on the day Amirul Mu'mineen was leaving, departing, he called Imam Hussein out of all children and he whispered something in the ear of Imam Hussein. Everybody asked Imam Hussein after the shahadat of Amirul Mu'mineen, what was your father saying? Not to Imam Hassan, not to Bibi Zainab, but he mentioned to you. What did he say? The secret of that was revealed on the day of Ashura, when he was parting farewell to Zainab. These are the days that she is captive. She's been taken towards Sham. 10th of Muharram, the caravan is moving towards Sham. And that was, Hussein was about to leave, and Hussein says, Zainab, come here. Do you remember you all always asked me that what was the wasiyat, what was the will of our father? Last minute he said something to me. He asked me to kiss your hands, because here will be that ropes will be tied. You will be taken captives. It wasn't easy for Zainab to be taken as a captive. And as she passes through the bodies of their loved ones, it wasn't easy. When she was asked to enter the courtyard of Ibn Ziyad in front of all people who are non-mahram to her, without chador, it wasn't easy. They would whip Imam Sajjad alayhi salam in order to force Zainab to enter. How strong she was in terms of her resolve, in terms of her heart. How she carried that message, how she delivered those sermons. In Maqatil or in some of the poetries that we recite, that Bibi Fatima was with Imam Hussein. And in the evening, Sham-e Ghariban, we said that the father joined Zainab. Yes, father did join Zainab, because whenever she spoke and gave these sermons, it was in the style of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali was with Zainab. And the caravan moves and reaches to a point in Sham, in Halab. Today also there's a place of ziyarat, that this Christian priest asked for this head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They were head of all Shuhada, were taken from Karbala to Sham. And then this head of Hussein was taken and borrowed by this priest. As this head of Hussein was borrowed, he says, I saw light descending from the heaven, in which in this light I saw Moses. In this light I saw the Prophet Ibrahim, I saw the other prophets in this light. And then there was another very illuminating light, and everybody were giving condolences to this illuminating light, which was the light of Rasulullah that descended upon the head of Hussein alayhi salam. And this very head in that prison of Sham, when this little Sakina was crying, when she sees the father in the dream. These are the days of the Shahadat of Sakina as well. That this Sakina, this little one, when she sees the father in the dream, she was crying. The crying was carried on by others who saw the little girl crying, the Bibia in the prison, the ladies in the prison, they all also started to cry. Eventually this reached to Yazid, and Yazid says, why? He says, because the little girl is missing the father. And he says, okay, take the head of the father. The head of Hussein was brought, and it was given to Sakina. And you know what she says? Oh father, did they give you any water before they killed you, oh father? Because the thirst of the day of Ashura, and how the uncle went to get water. And then after mentioning that, then she starts complaining, or she starts crying about what went on her, right? Oh father, you said that the orphan should be treated in a special way, but these people in Syria are not good people. They treat us in the worst possible way. They slap us when we cry for you, oh father. They snatch my hearing, oh father. They burned our tents, oh father. While conversing to the father, Sakina sits on the ground, and here she bends quiet. When she goes quiet, Zainab says, oh Sajjad, look at Sakina, why is she not speaking? Then Sajjad bends down and shakes the shoulder of Sakina, and she says, oh Pupi Amma, inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Sakina is no longer with us. Ala lanatullah ala qawm az-zalimin, sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayyamun qalibin yanqalibun. Matam Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein.
زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، 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 سجاد کو ضعیف صدائیں یہ کر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی لاشوں کو رسیوں میں جکر کر لیے پھرو، لاشوں کو رسیوں میں جکر کر لیے پھرو، سیدانیاں تو پھر سے نکلتے ہی مر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، جاتی تھی جو کبھی کبھی زہرا کی قبر پر، جاتی تھی جو کبھی کبھی زہرا کی قبر پر، جانے خدا ہجوم سے کیسے گزر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، ظلم و ستم کی تیز ہوائیں تھی جب چلی، ظلم و ستم کی تیز ہوائیں تھی جب چلی، سب گلشن بطول کی کلیاں بکھر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، وہ دو سے راہ شام میں گر گر کے مر گئے، وہ دو سے راہ شام میں گر گر کے مر گئے، بچوں کے لاش دیکھ کے مائیں بھی مر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، رملائے پوچھتی تھی سکینہ سے قید میں، رملائے پوچھتی تھی سکینہ سے قید میں، زخمی ہے کان بالیاں بی بی کدھر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بازار لے کے جاؤ نہ بے پردہ ظالموں، بازار لے کے جاؤ نہ بے پردہ ظالموں، مر جائیں گی حسین کی بہنیں اگر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر 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 گئی، سجاد کو ضعیف صدائیں یہ کر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے مارا 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 بابا، وہ جو دریا اپنے تحفے میں مجھے بخشے تھے، وہ جو دریا اپنے تحفے میں مجھے بخشے تھے، ان کو بے درد سے ظالم نے اتارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ تماچے پہ سکینہ نے، ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ اے مجھے بالوں سے پکڑ کر ہے تماچے مارے، مجھے بالوں سے پکڑ کر ہے تماچے مارے، میں نے سر شیب سے مانگا جو تمہارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ تماچے پہ سکینہ نے، ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ وہ جو دریا اپنے تحفے میں مجھے بخشے تھے، وہ جو دریا اپنے تحفے میں مجھے بخشے تھے، ان کو بے درد سے ظالم نے اتارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے، ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ آپ کے سینے پہ آرام سے سونے والی، آپ کے سینے پہ آرام سے سونے والی، سو کے اب خاک پہ کرتی ہے گزارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے، ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ نوکے نیزہ پہ اسے دیکھوں تو دیکھوں کیسے، نوکے نیزہ پہ اسے دیکھوں تو دیکھوں کیسے، میرا اصغر تھا مجھے جان سے پیارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے، ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا، جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا۔ میری غربت پہ چچا جان کا سر روتا ہے، قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا. ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے, ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا. جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا, جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا, جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا. چے پہ سکینہ نے, ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا. جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا, جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا. ساتھ رہواروں کے دوڑایا گیا ہے مجھ کو, ساتھ رہواروں کے دوڑایا گیا ہے مجھ کو. شور زخموں سے بدن میرا ہے سارا بابا. جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا, جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا. ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے, ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے پکارا بابا. جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا, جب مجھے آپ کے قاتل نے ہے مارا بابا. ہائے ہائے زینب, ہائے ہائے شام, 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 ہائے ہائے زینب, ہائے ہائے یا حسین, 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 بیمار تھا وہ عابد بیمار تھا, چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا, چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا. اور شام کا بازار تھا, اور شام کا بازار تھا, اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین, مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین, مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین, یا حسین, یا حسین, یا حسین. شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی, شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی, سینے پہ جو شاخ پلی, سینے پہ جو شاخ پلی, جس کی ادا بن میں جلی, جس کی ابا بن میں جلی, منہ پہ تماچوں کے نشان. مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین, مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین, مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین, یا حسین, یا حسین, یا حسین, یا حسین, یا حسین,
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام علیکم یا ابا عبداللہ, السلام علیکم یا ابن رسول اللہ, السلام علیکم یا ابن امیر المومنین و ابن سید الوسید, السلام علیکم یا ابن فاطمة الزہراء سیدۃ النساء العالمین, السلام علی الحسین وعلی علی ابن الحسین وعلی اولاد الحسین وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلطان أبا الحسن مولانا علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب رسول الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله فرجك وسخر الله مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وتليلا